Take care now. A fresh probie.
President Trump stayed silent throughout the hearing, but he reacted on Twitter right after the testimony ended. Our chief White House correspondent, John Paul, has more on that. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Michael. TVs throughout the White House were tuned to that hearing as they were across the country. I'm told the president watched virtually every minute of the hearing.
Did you know there's some probiotic that can help you take control of your vaginal health? Use Fresh Probie every day. It's clinically shown to balance yeast and bacteria to maintain feminine health. This is awesome. Take care down there. Refresh Probie.
It was one of those days where America became a huge town hall. The whole country watching, weighing, debating as Judge Brett Kavanaugh and Dr. Christine Blasey Ford faced the Senate, bared their souls. The Supreme Court at stake.
And the scenes all across the country, all day long, people gathering to watch those 9 hours. It was simply a roller coaster of emotions, a sense that we will all remember where we were when we watched what went down yesterday.
And both sides, they held firm. Ford saying she is 100% sure he attacked her, but Kavanaugh saying there was zero chance that it was him.
She came in fear, he came in anger. Now senators must decide right there at the U.S. Capitol, who did they believe, how will they vote? Should Brett Kavanaugh get a lifetime seat on the Supreme Court? We have team coverage this morning, starting with senior national correspondent Terry Moran. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, George. Those extraordinary hearings concluded, and the day after has begun with a pitched partisan battle in the Senate Judiciary Committee right across the street here from the Supreme Court. Republicans will vote in that committee to send the nomination of Brett Kavanaugh for the Supreme Court to the floor, and it all comes after that wrenching day of testimony that began with a dramatic moment. Dr. Christine Blasey Ford taking the oath, speaking her truth.
I am here today not because I want to be. I am terrified.
But Dr. Christine Blasey Ford says she believes telling her story is a civic duty.
I was pushed onto the bed and Brett got on top of me. He began running his hands over my body and grinding into me. And I tried to get away from him, but his weight was heavy.
Blasey Ford says Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh, then a Georgetown Prep high school student, and his friend Mark Judge assaulted her at a party in 1982 when she was 15 years old.
I believed he was going to rape me. I tried to yell for help. When I did, Brett put his hand over my mouth to stop me from yelling. This is what terrified me the most and has had the most lasting impact on my life. It was hard for me to breathe, and I thought that Brett was accidentally going to kill me.
She says she didn't speak about what happened for years, but the experience scarred her for life.
What is the strongest memory you have? Strongest memory of the incident, something that you cannot forget?
The laughter, the uproarious laughter between the two.
And you were the object of the laughter?
I was, underneath one of them while the two laughed.
As she spoke, the all-male Republican members of the Judiciary Committee remained silent, instead leaving the questioning to a female sex crimes prosecutor, Rachel Mitchell of Arizona.
Are you aware that they say that they have no memory or knowledge of such a party?
Yes.
Democrats called Blasey Ford an inspiration.
You have inspired and you have enlightened men in America to listen respectfully to women survivors and men who have survived sexual attack. And that is a profound public service.
Then it was Judge Kavanaugh's turn in front of the cameras.
I never sexually assaulted anyone.
Kavanaugh filled with emotion, defiant and angry.
My family and my name have been totally and permanently destroyed by vicious and false additional accusations.
He was careful not to blame Blasey Ford, who he says he believes was hurt by someone, just not by him.
I intend no ill will to Dr. Ford and her family. The other night, Ashley and my daughter Liza said their prayers, and little Liza, all 10 years old, said to Ashley, we should pray for the woman. It's a lot of wisdom from a 10-year-old. We mean no ill will.
But at Democrats, Kavanaugh seethed.
This whole 2-week effort has been a calculated and orchestrated political hit. This is a circus.
At one point, Kavanaugh even tried to turn the tables on a female Democratic senator.
You're saying there's never been a case where you drank so much that you didn't remember what happened the night before or part of what happened?
You're asking about, blackout. I don't know. Have you?
Could you answer the question, Judge? So that's not happened. Is that your answer?
Yeah, and I'm curious if you have.
I have no drinking problem, Judge.
Nor do I.
Kavanaugh later apologized.
Sorry I did that. This is a tough process. I'm sorry about that.
I appreciate that. I would like to add, when you have a parent that's alcoholic, you're pretty careful about drinking.
Democrats pressed him over and over again. If he wants to clear his name, why not allow the FBI to reopen his background check?
Judge Kavanaugh, will you support an FBI investigation right now?
I will do whatever the committee wants to.
Personally, do you think that's the best thing for us to do? You want to answer?
After hearing what he said and what she said, senators now have to decide whom to believe.
With what degree of certainty do you believe Brett Kavanaugh assaulted you?
100%.
None of these allegations are true.
Correct.
You swear to God.
I swear to God.
Republicans shunting prosecutor Rachel Mitchell aside during Kavanaugh's testimony and using their time to accuse Senator Dianne Feinstein of plotting to leak Blasey Ford's accusations at the 11th hour. Senator Lindsey Graham exploding in frustration.
I hope the American people can see through this sham. That you knew about it and you held it. You had no intention of protecting Dr. Ford. None. She's as much of a victim as you are. This is not a job interview. This is hell. This is going to destroy the ability of good people to come forward because of this crap.
Let me be clear. I did not hide Dr. Ford's allegations. I did not leak her story.
So there's an important development overnight. The American Bar Association, which had given Judge Kavanaugh its highest rating, gold standard, now calling for a postponement of any vote on his nomination until the FBI investigates Dr. Ford's allegation and others against Kavanaugh.
The question is, will it have any impact, Terry? One thing that seemed pretty clear over the course of that 9 hours yesterday is that over the course of 9 hours, the party lines hardened.
No question about it. It began, it seemed, as a search for truth, and as the day...
Did you know there's a probiotic that can help you take control of your vaginal health? Use Refresh Pro B every day. It's clinically shown to balance yeast and bacteria to maintain feminine health. This is awesome. Take care down there. Refresh Pro B.
It's a fundamental aspect of fairness and due process that the accuser have the burden of proving allegations. It's true yesterday's hearing was not a trial, but trials have rules based on common sense notions of fairness and due process, not the other way around. A person had allegations made against him in a public way, and his reputation and livelihood were at stake. It was only fair that his accuser had the burden of proof. In my opinion, this wasn't met. You folks that are photographers know that you're supposed to sit down. Maybe you just ought to leave the room if you don't know what the rules are.
When you ache and haven't slept, you're not you. Tylenol PM works fast to relieve pain.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much the state of affairs with respect to our Supreme Court. What's quite interesting is that even with all that was said, there was quite a bit of deference given to Dr. Ford that was not given in 1991 to Anita Hill. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the situation there when she accused Justice Thomas of sexual harassment. The men on the Senate Judiciary Committee, I mean, they pretty much crucified that woman, and shamefully so. Some have actually come back and apologized since then, but it was incredible. All right, before we move on, any questions, any comments? Yes, sir.
In the first video, for example, the press was that in regards to the Justice Kavanaugh or was he saying that the whole situation while they're there?
He was saying the whole situation while they're there. As he claimed that the Democrats actually had knowledge of this person a long time ago and did not come forward with it now in terms of trying to make a strategic move to slow down the process. The lady who came on was Feinstein from California, who actually, when they accused of holding on to the information, actually the information went to Dr. Ford's state senator, who held the letter, and somehow it got to the New York Post, and then it got to the New York Times, and then it got to Senator Feinstein just recently, and that's when it was released about 2 weeks ago. So that part was not true, that he actually held it strategically. But the big thing now is that yesterday they had the hearing, and today they're voting. What was most telling is that the American Bar Association, which gave a high rate of approval for Kavanaugh, advised last night that they thought that it would be wise for the FBI to do the investigation, and in the meantime that they should hold up the process. What does it mean if the FBI goes in? There are people who were there who say that they were not there. His best friend, Mark Judge, who Dr. Ford said was there, as he said he won't testify. However, if the FBI investigates him and asks him questions, he will be subpoenaed and he would have to testify under oath. So these other people that were allegedly there would be interviewed and they would have to come and testify under oath. So that's the significance of the FBI investigation. Yes?
So from a legal perspective, not from a personal perspective, what is your take on the situation?
What is my take? My take is that because it's a position that he will hold for the rest of his life, and he's a very young man, so it means that he could be on there for the next 30 or 40 years. I think holding off for a week or two is not the worst thing in the world. And usually what happens is that when there are allegations made, the FBI investigates, gives a report, and then the Senate questions. And if this was unusual for the Senate to actually, the Republican senators, they actually hire a prosecutor to do the questioning. They're supposed to do the questioning. It's not a trial. It's a fact finding, and it's supposed to advise and consent. And they were supposed to do the questioning. So I think that the best thing here would have been for them to let the FBI come do their investigation, and it would have given some finality to it, or some credibility. Because at this point, we have her story, we have his story. Any other questions, comments? Yes? Okay, the voting today is to vote it out of committee to go to the full Senate. Okay, there's a judiciary committee that votes to send it to the full floor of the Senate. And that's what they're voting on today. Now, once it gets to the full floor of the Senate, that's the next, there's something about Senator Flake here. They're like, he's one of the few Republicans that's been critical of Trump. When it gets to the Senate, it's like, I think it's 51-49, 51 Republican senators and 49 Democratic senators. So if everybody votes party line, he will get in. So the focus now is on Flake and Collins, who's a female senator from Maine, I believe, and another Republican who's been a little critical. Yes, to send it to the floor. Okay. You had a question.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you think he did it? I mean, it seems to be the same thing that would happen like with him. So he said, wait, this is a political, so he said, Aaron said, this is a high that
Yes.
and he said, the same thing.
think he did it? Yes. I think he
And when
was.
he talking about his 10-year-old, come on.
I think he was drunk. One of his female classmates came, one of his freshman classmates at Yale came and said, ordinarily he was like a calm guy. But once he started drinking, he became very aggressive and belligerent. And that's possible. You see that he can certainly get to be a little belligerent. And then he offered advice. He said, he didn't have intercourse in high school, he didn't have it in college, and I'm thinking, well, maybe that's why he was acting that way. But anyway, I think that they should wait. But let's hear what the women are saying about Kavanaugh, and then we're going to go play, and then go forward. Hopefully we'll have another commercial.
You and haven't slept? You're not you. Tylenol PM works fast to relieve pain and helps you sleep. We give you a better night. You're a better you all day. Tylenol.
You're allowing someone who is unwilling to take responsibility for his own actions, unwilling to hold the harm that he has done to one woman, actually 3 women, and repairing. You are allowing someone who is unwilling to take responsibility for his own actions to sit in the higher court of the country and to have the role of repairing the harm that has been done in this country to many people. What do you think? You're gonna respond? I understand, but tell me, I'm standing right here in front of you. What do you have? Do you think that he's telling the truth? No. Do you think that he's telling the truth to the country? You have power when so many women are powerless. Thank you. Saying thank you is not an answer. This is about the future of our country, sir.
You can be a hero today.
Be a hero.
Senator, why now? Why now? Why not wait? Why not wait? Why not wait for the investigation? There's no harm.
How can you be speechless? We demand to know what you're thinking. Do you stand with women? Do you stand with this nation who deserves due process?
Well, I guess he's not going to answer. All right, I would suggest that you, yes, sir.
Isn't it past the statute of limitations? Wouldn't they not even know the trial if it was normal?
Well, this is not a trial.
I mean, the investigation.
Well, no, actually, this has nothing to do, could you turn it off?
Why would you do an FBI investigation?
We believe in you.
Okay, but not that they're trying to get to the truth. I mean, this would not, if the FBI came back and they found that yes, he did do it, that doesn't mean he goes to jail, doesn't mean he's criminal charges.
So, like, if it was a normal guy, they wouldn't even investigate.
If he was a normal guy?
Yeah, I know, but I mean, we're paying.
Well, no, not, I mean, well, how old are you? If you're 17 and you do that, and you report it, you're going to court, you're gonna go to jail.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, but what are you thinking if it was a
I'm just saying, like, if it was like.
But he's not a normal guy. This is somebody going to sit on our highest
So they
court.
do that stuff, they just investigate to find out what's the truth.
Well, any time that you're elected to public office, not public office, but a judge, or if you're going to be working with the FBI, they do a background. They talk to people that knew you, that went to school with you and that sort of thing. So that they can get all the information. And the thing here, if they were to speak with Kavanaugh's friend, Mark Judge, they would get his statement. First of all, he won't speak otherwise because he doesn't want to speak under oath. All right, but they could subpoena him and make him speak under oath. If they found out Kavanaugh was lying, no criminal charges technically could be brought against him. But it would tell something about his character, okay? And it's like you're lying, okay? Even if you go for a job, and they found out that you lied, they will withdraw your offer. They'll ask you a question, have you ever, you had, you have any felonies, you have any misdemeanors, and if you say no, and they find out you're lying, that's reason to have you dismissed. So that answers your question? Okay. However, having said that, this happened in Montgomery County, Maryland. And Maryland is one of the few states that does not have a statute of limitations on sexual assaults. All right, so technically, this was in Montgomery County, Maryland. Any other questions, comments? All right. Lights, please follow it. Sir, are you looking at your cell phone? You? Yeah. Okay, because I don't know if you know it, but I'll repeat again, I get very jealous. All right, we're going to talk about torts. Sir, come on down. Sir, come on down. Unless I be accused of being sexist, madam, you want to come on up? As I mentioned on our last class, torts are basically civil wrongs, okay? And we'll find that in every every crime, there's actually an element of a tort, but there's not an element of the vice versa. There's an element of a tort in every crime, but there's not an element of a crime in every tort. So we're talking about something civil here. And you recall that torts are divided into 3 categories. Anybody can help me? Rita? Yes, you're right. Intentional torts, okay? Torts based on negligence, and torts based on strict liability, okay? We mentioned that those intentional torts, those torts like assault and battery and false imprisonment, and we'll get into the definition of those today, the defamation. And then we mentioned that negligence deals with when somebody owes a duty of care to someone else and they neglect that duty. Whether it's a store owner who refuses or neglects to keep the floors clean so that you slip, whether it's your accountant who's negligent in performing an audit, whether it's the doctor who negligently performs surgery, those are all torts of negligence. And in our last category, is based upon strict liability, for which there is no fault that has to be found. As a matter of public policy, we've said that if you're engaged in certain activities and individuals are harmed, you are liable. All right. Having said that, let's go through some of the terms. Starting with you, sir, in the high chair. What's your name? Mohammed. Speak.
Missed last class.
Very good.
You want me to start with the first one?
Yeah, start with the first one or any one that you'd like to start with.
So, about number one's assault.
Assault, yes, sir. Tell us about an assault. What is an assault?
So, assault is making a physical attack on someone or something.
Okay, all right. Now, you disagree with that, don't you? Okay. Tell him why.
It's a greater physical act than physical apprehension of immediate harm.
Okay. What has he given us a definition of?
Battery.
A battery in the civil sense or an assault in a criminal sense. Okay? Mr. Whitaker, could you give him an example of what might constitute an assault in a civil sense?
If you tell someone you're going to beat them up in the parking lot.
Okay. Whether you're going to beat him up in the parking lot next month, next year?
Maybe today.
Okay, so we're talking about an immediate, yes.
I also looked at that, also mentioned that it's intentional. Otherwise, it can be conceived as like negligent. It has to be intentional. To require.
Oh, it's intentional, and you have to put them in apprehension of immediate fear. So these people that you're meeting in the parking lot, you have to make sure that they know this is going to happen soon. Huh? And they have to be scared, okay, which is the other part. So what you've given us, Mohammed, is a criminal definition, all right? Your definition is more akin to actually battery in the civil context. What do you have for battery?
For battery, I have unlawful physical acting upon a threat, resisting from assault, which is an act of creating apprehension of such content.
Okay, all right. Can we make that a little more simpler definition, Rita? Okay, or non-consensual touching. When you touch somebody without their consent and you do it intentionally and they don't want that touching, it's a battery. And it not only extends to the person, it extends to things that are personal to the person. So if I could go to my friend Takafumi right here and pluck him on his glasses, these glasses are so much an integral part of him that would constitute a battery as well. All right, okay, thank you, sir. All right, you want to go next? Your name again? Yes, okay.
So we did assault and battery, so I'll go to libel versus slander, I guess.
Okay.
They're both forms of defamation.
And what libel and slander intended, what are they protecting? They're protecting an individual's what? Reputation. Okay, all right. What's the difference between libel and slander?
So slander is a verbal form of defamation, oral or verbal defamation. And slander is written, like in newspapers.
Okay, or now it could be a text message or something you put on Facebook. Okay? All right. Now, how does anything that you say is libel, or are there any qualifications to that?
Yeah, like harmful or something not true.
Okay, all right. I'm going to tell this guy, say something to this guy here, okay? What did I just say?
Some bad things about my family.
All right. And you?
Me, my mom, my relatives.
Okay. All right. And I really did say them too, right? And he's still smiling. Now, was that, did I defame him? Why not? Okay, so it has to be communicated to a third party. It has to hear. You know, so if ever I ask any of you to come out in the hall and I want to tell you something, you can forget about defamation. Because I'll let it rip and I'll have no liability at all, Mr. Mohammed. All right? Okay. And only one person has to hear it. Yes, as long as a third person hears it, then it can qualify. But if it's just, huh?
So that didn't count?
That didn't count.
You can't be defaming someone else saying it to them. That's all he said.
If Mr. Whitaker, as he was trying to hear what I was saying, if he heard what I was saying, then perhaps it would have been actionable. But it was not actionable otherwise. And you don't even have to know the person. There was this case where it involved one of those southern supermarkets, maybe Piggly Wiggly or something. You would only know about that if you've been south of Virginia. They had supermarkets they call Piggly Wiggly. Anyway, there was this guy shopping in Piggly Wiggly, and he went and one of the store workers thought that he'd stolen something. So he ran after him. And he says, look, you stole so and so and so and so. And as it turned out, the guy hadn't actually stolen anything. So he sued him. He sued him for libel for defaming his character. And so the defense of the people from Piggly Wiggly was that yes, third parties heard him, but they didn't know him, so therefore it didn't count. And the court ruled in that particular case that you don't have to, the third parties don't have to know you, but if they hear these defamatory words, they're actionable. Yes, yes? Okay. Yes, sir. Excuse me, your name.
Michael.
Michael.
All right. Next one is false imprisonment.
False imprisonment.
And that's a crime where a person is restricted in their personal movement within any area without jurisdiction.
Okay, Michael, when does this false imprisonment occur? In what most instances?
Maybe domestic affairs.
Domestic affairs? How so, sir?
For example, if you and I were living together, and if I had
lovers,
yeah, okay. If I had a gun and I threatened you, if you leave this house, I'll shoot you.
Okay.
That's gonna find you within the house.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
Well, that's it. Well, we're living together.
Isn't false imprisonment just like the legal term for kidnapping?
No.
False imprisonment means to falsely imprison someone, so like in the legal system, they throw somebody in jail and then they,
Okay, all right. Anyone else? What if I were to lock these doors, put chains on them, and hold you guys here till about 8 o'clock at night? Huh? Perhaps false imprisonment, I've been detaining you. But this comes up in most instances with retailers. People that are shopping. How so?
Until you stole something from my door, I'm closing the doors until, I don't know, the cops come, or I'm holding you until you give it back to me or something.
Because you know how they do in a lot of these stores. They see somebody like me walking in and they follow me all around the store. You know, they don't realize that I have an American Express Black Card. And they follow me around the store to see if I'm going to take something. And what happens is often there are these merchant statutes that they actually protect the retail people. If they have probable cause or reasonable reason to suspect you, they can detain you for a reasonable period of time and question you. The problem arises when there's no probable cause and they detain you for an unreasonable time. There was a case against, I think it's Eddie Bauer stores. Anybody familiar with him? Yeah, they have it in New Jersey. No, but they have like in Maryland and other places. You know, and ever since this case was decided, Mr. Muhammad, I walked in stores and I just want so badly for them to come and say that I stole something. You know why? This happened in Eddie Bauer. There were two young men. They happened to be Afro-American young men. And they were there. And the store clerk noticed that one of the guys was wearing a shirt that they sold. Okay, he didn't see me go into a dressing room. He didn't change any clothes or anything. And he falsely accused and had him, and they ushered him back into some back office, and they questioned him. And they, you know, guy says, like, we just walked in. He says, we didn't try anything on. We haven't do anything. And they demanded, they wanted to see the receipt that he bought the shirt there. And he's like, I bought this shirt 2 weeks ago. I don't have the receipt. I don't usually take the receipts around in my pocket. And they kept these two guys there and they questioned them for almost an hour before they finally let them go. They sued Eddie Bauer stores. You know what they got, Michael? A cool $1 million. So you know I was walking around in Eddie Bauer. I bought 2 of their shirts and nobody. I'm just joking. Go ahead.
In the case that somebody does steal, and you do have evidence, I can't, let's say as the owner, detain them, wait until.
And to the police, if there's reasonable cause, or if they see you go into the dressing room and you come out and you're wearing a different shirt, and your old shirt, you're not wearing your shirt that you wore before, and you're not like just trying it on, that's reasonable cause. Or even if they want to question you, they can question you for a reasonable time. But you can't just keep people in there for hours. Yes, sir.
How does like a normal person get charged with false imprisonment?
How does a normal person?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, you need to find a normal person. Is he normal?
Like, he doesn't work at retail stores.
Well, what did he do?
I don't know. I thought it was kidnapping.
Okay. False imprisonment is when you detain somebody. Kidnapping, you actually take them physically and take them somewhere else. All right? You take them to another location. You take them from New Jersey and take them to Massachusetts or someplace. All right? All right? Okay. So, do you have any ideas if you want to kidnap somebody? No. All right. Okay. Thank you. All right. Next. Yes.
Just one more question in terms of retailer. What if they don't have, I don't know how exactly this would work, but let's say they don't have a reasonable cause and they do it anyway, and it turns out that they were right that the guy stole something, but they detain the person. Will that like affect whether or not they can prosecute?
Well, if they found out he actually stole something, they can always say there was reasonable cause. Yeah. Yeah. They can always say there was reasonable cause. Yes. Okay. We're back to you, Mohammed. doubt if you were familiar with this, but some of your classmates might be familiar with a website called Pornhub. You definitely are, okay? I won't ask who else it is, but anyway, this is, have you ever heard of a magazine called Penthouse? Yeah? You have? Who has? Okay. What kind of magazine?
Is it owned by you? Oh, not you.
Well, what's that other one though? What one are you thinking about? You're thinking about Playboy?
No, I'm familiar with Penthouse.
Okay.
Years.
Oh yeah, from years ago. What's it like?
It's crazy photos.
But it's not quite Pornhub.
Pictures don't move.
Let me move on. Anybody here live in Newark? All right. Have you ever heard of Good Counsel? Yeah. All right. Up by where I live. All right. It used to have like grammar school. I don't think they have a high school there anymore. But anyway, Good Counsel. It's in North Newark, and they had still have like grammar school or 1 to 8 or something like that. So one day the fifth graders were outside playing, and they were in the class of Sister Mary Catherine, a nun, and because they were acting up when they went outside on the playground, she said that day that all the girls had to stay on this side and all the boys had to stay on this side. All right? So they wanted to play together. When Sister Mary Catherine turned her back, the girls all went like this to her. All right? Okay? As they were going like this to Sister Mary Catherine, there was a reporter from the Star-Ledger coming by, and he took a picture of this. He thought it would be kind of funny. You know, you have these little kids in their nice little uniforms, and they're doing this to the good nun. So it was in the Sunday paper, and it was funny. Well, about 2 months later, it appeared in Penthouse magazine. All right. What's your name again?
Dan.
Ken?
Dan.
Dan, Whitaker, Harris, and Pluto. Okay? Were at Whitaker's house on Sunday. And they were in his man cave, or whatever, man hub, I guess. And while they were watching Sunday football, he had magazines there. And so Dan happened to pitch up a magazine, and lo and behold, on page 49, now there were just op-ed pieces here. On page 49, there was a picture of these little girls, a lady from Good Counsel, going like this, and a bunch of other op-ed stuff. Well, his daughter happened to attend Good Counsel, and she was one of their, and his little Patricia, we'll call her, was there in her uniform, and little Whitaker, Whitaker S was there, and they're like, oh my God, and they see him looking at that page. Okay, that was page 149. Then on page 150, there was Miss Mohammed. There was Miss October. Just like Miss October had come into the world, only she was a grown woman now, okay? No clothes on. On page 150, those guys got outrageous, and they were just beside themselves. Do you think they have a claim for intentional infliction of emotional distress? This one started drinking more. That one had to go get some pills to sleep at night. This one, I don't know what he was doing, but he was self-medicating, all right? And, huh? Okay, so what do you think? Does it meet the standard? Read the definition again.
Common law Georgia allows an individual to recover for severe emotional distress caused by another individual, intentionally or recklessly.
Intentionally or recklessly. Okay. you have a lawsuit against Penthouse? Huh? Okay, you're intended to, huh?
What was the page about? It's just like news up, and there's elementary school.
The op-ed was innocent, totally innocent, but then, you know, you had naked women in the rest of it, you know? And not only were you four guys, you know, guys all over New Jersey, while they're watching the Giants lose, looking at these magazines. What do you think? What do you think?
I think they cause shame, so it is.
Okay. Well, how upset were you?
I'd be pretty mad.
How mad? Huh? How mad? Would you have to seek therapy?
I don't think so.
No?
I think I'd be able to handle it.
You think you'd be able to handle it? How about you, Dan? What if instead of you watching, you were one of your girls that these guys are looking at in that book?
Stay only doing this. Yeah, I'd be pretty mad.
How mad? Would you be distressed?
I would be distressed.
Mm-hmm. Do you have to go see a doctor or something?
I don't know about a doctor. Upset enough to actually call the company.
Okay. How about you, Pluto?
I would investigate how my daughter's picture was in that magazine.
They put it in there. You don't have to do any investigation.
Sue them.
Huh?
I'll be livid.
You okay?
I'll be high.
Well, we don't want any violence. We want to know if you have any emotional problems. Why? But why would you be upset?
I mean, because my daughter's picture is right next to grown women's naked.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
So then first of all, you're making an assumption because there's a picture of a grown woman naked that it's pornography.
So this is a doctor movie.
it is pornography.
It is? The naked body is pornographic?
Because the pictures don't move.
Is it? Huh?
Is it not porn if they're
Mm-hmm. So that makes it pornography.
What's the definition of porn? You know?
I don't know. How would you define it?
I'm not sure today.
You think as long as they're not moving, it's not porn.
Would any normal magazine or newspaper just post a photo?
Oh, I'm talking about
All right. Well, actually, this
Does any normal magazine have to ask before they put a picture?
Okay, that's another issue. Well, this was an actual case where they actually sued Penthouse because it didn't occur in Newark, but it did occur, and the court ruled in favor of Penthouse. They said that although it might not have been wise, Penthouse was not a magazine as such that it would offend the ordinary sensibilities of the community, and therefore it was not outrageous. If it had been published maybe in, you have to excuse me for saying this, but there used to be a magazine that used to be called Beaver or something, which was like pure porn, and there was no artistic about it. They said that was not in the same category as Penthouse or Playboy because they're general interest magazines and they don't offend the community, even though there might be new pictures. So they ruled it was not intentional infliction of emotional distress. Now, there's also, Mohammed, can be a tort for negligent infliction of emotional distress. Okay? To give you an example, anybody ever been in the military? No. You ever heard of Delaware Air Force Base? Yeah. Yes, this is there now? Okay. All right. When soldiers are killed abroad, and they ship them back, and usually come to Dover Air Force Base. That's where they bring the bodies. And a lot of times, the parents or the next of kin will go down and reclaim the bodies, and they're coming off the airplane, they're coming down a ramp, not a ramp, like a conveyor belt. Well, there was a family that had gone down to retrieve their son's body. And they were standing there, as they were coming off. And as his casket was coming off, something happened on the conveyor belt. And the conveyor belt clipped up or something anyway, causing the casket to fall over, and his partially decapitated body was thrown onto the tarmac. Okay? In that instance, they were able to sue for negligent infliction of emotional distress. There's no question that would be an emotional distressing sort intentional, but it was negligence caused by someone. All right? Next.
False light, which is another tort that's similar to defamation. False light is a tort concerning privacy, and the privacy laws in the United States include non-public persons' rights to protection from publicity, which puts the person in a false light to the public.
Okay, all right, false light. And then there's one where it involves using somebody's image for commercial purposes. Sir, step back again. Yeah, what's your name again? Demetrius. I decided that I'm going to sell some t-shirts. And I make these t-shirts, and on the front of the t-shirt, I put a picture of Demetrius. Turn around so everybody can look at it, sir. Good. See him on that side? Turn the other side. His face appears on my t-shirt. And I go and I'm selling these. I start at Penn Station, I sell a few, and I go up to Broad Market and I sell a few more of these t-shirts. All right? I give them a good price. First thing I'm selling, so I knock $2 off the $5 price, and $3 are going like this. Okay? Demetrius finds out, and he's like, Professor Williams, what are you doing? He said, I my image here. And he says, I'm going to talk to a lawyer, because you're making money off my image, and therefore I think that I should get a cut. All right? What do you think?
I don't think that would be considered under the false light tort, because unless you're portraying him,
Okay, he's not false light, but under that commercial, there's a commercial tort there. I'll give you an example that would somewhat like my case. Have you ever seen Wheel of Fortune? I hate that game. But anyway, Wheel of Fortune, you know who Vanna White is?
Yeah.
Okay, she's become a millionaire. She does absolutely nothing. I think she was on when I was a kid. But anyway, somebody made a commercial. I think it was Sanyo. They were trying to sell their electronics. And they had this robot that looked like Vanna White. All right? And pushing their products. Vanna White found out about it, and she sued them. And she sued them for damages for a certain amount of money. Isn't that similar to my case with Demetrius? What do you think? What do you think? I'm sorry, your nameplate's up, so I have to point at you.
Nadia.
Huh?
Nadia.
Yeah, Nadia. What do you think? Same? You're getting like Kavanaugh now. You're not answering.
No, I'm just.
Huh? I'll come back to you. Think about it. What do you think?
I don't think so, because she's a public figure. She has a brand. Plus, say this picture was like on Twitter and she did something. So he basically made himself public. It's already a public image. So you put it on a t-shirt, you shouldn't.
Okay. All right. Interesting. What do you say, sir? I'm with her. You're with her? And what are you?
Yeah, I was gonna say that she said she's already known, so it kind of changes.
Are you saying you wouldn't buy his t-shirt? Huh? He's a handsome guy. You wouldn't buy it?
Well, I'm saying I don't think it would, like it's the same issue.
Huh?
I'm saying I don't think it's really the same.
You don't think it's the same?
If he was famous.
Huh?
He'd have to get a cut though, no?
If you were church, you wouldn't purchase the shirt?
If he was famous.
I was selling it for $5. I'm down to $3. You can have it for $2. Huh? No?
I don't see the commercial one in here, but if it's the same as the false light, except not in a false light, then I would say it is the same, because according to the United States at least, they also include the rights of a non-public person.
Okay.
So public or not.
All right. Actually, in that instance, we all like and we love Demetrius, but nobody knows him outside this classroom. And if anybody brought in Marcus Wise, if anybody else brought in Marcus else or just a fever. We love it. So he could claim that his picture was maybe I could put an X on there. There would be people that would buy that T-shirt. So there's difference. There's no. Your face at this point has no commercial value. All right. but you're all right with us. We love you. Next.
Next one is intentional torts.
Okay, what are the intentional torts?
That is a category of torts that describes a civil wrong.
Okay, all right, that's what we've been talking about, right? Okay. Next.
Instance of converting or in the process of being converted.
What's that?
Conversion.
Conversion. Say that again?
Instance of converting or in the process of being converted.
What's it called?
That's sort of like the science definition.
Huh?
Like converting like something from inches to feet.
Hold on. Converting something from inches to feet, and somehow you're making that a tort?
That's not my words.
Huh?
That's his.
What do you have for conversion?
I got that it's an individual exerting unauthorized use or control of someone else's property.
Okay, that's better. Why do you get this inches and feet? Oh, that was it. Is that what you said?
I come up from the law website.
From the what?
Law website.
No, you got it from the math section. So conversion is similar to what crime? Theft. Okay. Converting somebody's property for your own use. All right. And usually what happens is you've given that person control of it, and then they convert it to their own use and act as if it's their own. All right. Next.
Trespass.
Trespass.
So, it's an area of criminal law or tort law broadly divided into three groups. The trespass to the person or to chattels.
Okay.
And to trespass to land.
Okay. There's something on your. I want somebody to look up now. You don't have invitee on your list, do you? Invitee. Somebody look in your book or give me a definition for invitee. Okay. All right. Let me ask you this question. When somebody trespasses, do you owe them any sort of care? Can they sue you if they trespass and they get hurt? Well, let me tell you, I got in a little trouble here a couple of years ago. I have a front yard. And in my front yard, I have a fence around it, but I have there's pear trees and apple trees, and able to grow these miniature plums. Have you ever seen them? They're only about this big, and they're like little hard apples or something, but they're plums. And so I like to keep these. I give them to my great aunts. She likes to make preserves and jellies out of these things. However, in the fall, this time of year, I usually have problems because as the kids were coming from school, they jump over the fence and steal my fruit. So, at first I put up a sign, beware dog. And I wanted to be fair to everyone. I wrote it in English, I put it in Spanish, I put it in Korean. All right? They still jumped over my fence. So, I have a friend that lives out in by the Pocono, Pennsylvania. And they actually do little hunting, and sometimes they hunt squirrels and groundhog, and they have these little traps. So I said, you know what, man? Let me have some of these. When they hop over the fence in their little Nike sneakers, their little ankles are going to get stuck in the trap. So I put them all around my property fence, and still had my signs up. And lo and behold, some of them jumped over, and I caught their little legs, and in their sneakers and their little tight pants, and You know, and I let them out, you know, didn't break anything, but they cut their legs up pretty bad. And their parents wanted to sue me. They have a cause?
No.
Yes?
They do because you have something on your property that you know will be harmful.
Attractive nuisance?
Right.
I can't grow fruit without having them, you know, I warned them not to come on.
Right, it's the attractive nuisance.
You think so? And I have another instance. I have a good friend of mine. His name, he owns a bodega. Anybody not know what a bodega is?
Of course.
In my morning class, like half the class had never heard of bodega. Anyway, huh? They were lying. Anyway, I have a bodega. My friend Louis came here about 10 years ago from the Dominican Republic. Good buddy. And so the kids, they're not kids, but the little would-be thugs, they kept breaking in the store, coming in the back window. And I said, Louis, this is what you do. You tried everything else. So Louis, when he closes the store at night, from the front door, he has his concoction set up, and he has like this arrow that's pointed at the back window. If that window comes up, that arrow goes out automatically. Of course, they tried it. One of them with the arrow going right through his shoulder. You know, I told him, I said, look, Nelson, you can't be breaking in people's stuff when you're gonna, you know, he didn't believe it. Anyway, so they had to take Nelson to St. Michael's to pull out the yeah. And his parents want to sue. You only duty to people when they trespass?
I think you do.
No?
Yeah, you do. It's just like if you
can't move
people break into McDonald's and slip and fall. They're in trouble. It's like if you trespass someone's house and get injured, it's still their fault.
Yeah? Yeah.
Like law does grab the case.
Huh?
The consequence of the case is indictment, conduct resulting in injury, resulting in liability, and have reasonably foreseen the conduct of the
That's a good case, and we're going to talk about that. But the final answer is, even when people trespass, you owe them certain duties. Yes?
At a home when it's snow, I'm always worried about the someone coming behind the house. And I need to take the snow out of, clean up the backyard just in case someone trespass.
Just in
and
case
break the
somebody
leg.
trespass. All right, because you have to provide a certain amount of safety even for trespass. Yes?
I have a question. Okay, so you say that apples are the attractive nuisance, but how do you define exactly what is an attractive nuisance?
Well, Dean's talking, he gave us the wrong definition. That's not attractive nuisance. When attractive nuisance usually comes up when you have like a swimming pool or something and kids come on. But when people, you know, you can grow fruit without being attractive nuisance, but you owe a certain duty, and there's only so much that you can do to protect personal property. You can't go shooting people with arrows. You know, at least not in New Jersey. Now, maybe you're in Florida, you can get away with that. Yes.
But so, in your example, like they were stealing your property, so even if somebody is stealing from you, like that's still counts?
Yeah, I can't put little bear and fox traps around.
Right, but like, I mean, isn't that like saying, you know, if somebody's trespassing on your property and stealing stuff, and you know, one of those, you see those guys, you know, sitting in their rocking chairs on their porch with a shotgun, and they see someone trying to start to
Well, if he wants to shoot them, wait till they try to get on the porch. If somebody, if you're gonna shoot somebody, you're up your front window, step back, let them get in the house. Then you can shoot them.
Right, but like, I'm saying even to threaten.
Yeah, if you feel it's that important, I don't know that you should shoot people for stealing things.
Right, I'm not saying, I didn't mean to shoot, I mean to threaten, like, then can that person sue?
Oh, yeah, you can threaten them. Yeah, you can threaten them all you want. Yes.
There's a guy in my town that broke into an old lady's house and was trying to steal some stuff. He had a knife and he fell down the stairs, broke his leg, and then he sued the lady.
Okay.
And got rid.
Yeah.
That's the same thing.
Yeah, kind of the same thing. You owe something. All right, let's move on. What's next?
Next on the list is negligence per se.
Negligence per se.
Is that a doctrine in the U.S. whereby an act is considered negligence because it violates statute?
Okay, all right. We have, remember now, we have common law torts. Those are torts that have come about because of some judicial decision, some decisional law. And then we have torts that are torts because there's a statute in place. Well, there's certain statutes in place that says if you do X, Y, Z, you're automatically liable for negligence, you're in violation of the statute. Like there's a statute that says that when you're selling like meat and that kind of stuff, that the meat must be dated, and if you cannot sell it past that meat date. Well, if you do sell it past that date and somebody buys it, you're negligent. You're negligent per se. They don't have to prove anything else other than they bought the meat and if you, and it was passed and sold it. Okay? Negligence per se. Yes, sir.
Next one is attractive nuisance.
Yes.
It applies to towards in the United States. It states that a landowner may be held liable for injuries to children trespassing on the land if the injury is caused by an object on the land that's likely to attract the children.
Okay. All right. So, I guess we can stretch and say maybe the apples and the pears were attracting them. That's what you were saying, sir? No?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But generally, it's like if you had like a swimming pool or something like that, and that's going to attract kids, attract a nuisance, and therefore you must protect the swimming pool somehow. Make it more difficult for them just to get there. Yes.
So if you're a fence up and that hot fence and drown in the swimming pool, are you good?
Well, now you try to take precautions, you know. But if you had no fence up and you live in a neighborhood where you know there are kids running around, then you could be liable. All right. Now we haven't gotten to. Let's skip down to proximate cause. You see that? All right. Sir, all the way in the back. No, not you. Never mind. What's your name again? Chris. Chris? Yeah. All right. Chris. Chris was like on his cell phone, and you know how I hate people on the cell phone while during my class. And so what I do is I take this eraser and I fling it at him. And he sees the eraser coming, and then he, ducking the eraser, falls over into this guy. This guy falls over into her. She just goes berserk. Makes me fall over myself. He falls. This guy back here, he's running out of the way. He falls, and the next thing you know, we have people falling all the way down to the elevator. All right? And somebody falls to the elevator, and you know how these elevators work, and they get trapped in the elevator. It kind of like closes on their head. You didn't chop it off, but just tighten it up a little bit. Am I liable?
Yeah.
Yes? Yes?
Yes.
Wait, didn't you tell him not to?
Yes?
Yes.
Dan, where are you? Read what's it say.
I have events related to the injury that the courts deem to be the cause of the injury.
Well, you would read me your foreseeable thing, what you say.
So the court says that the event that you caused, you were held liable. You see that the event?
No. You got a light bag. This is pretty light. You're trained. All right. This is all grass. I can't believe this always works out this way. All right. Mohammed, you'll see why I said that in a minute. All right. You're already hurt, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. This is New Jersey Transit. All right. He's running for the train. It's 11:21. The train is about to come up. You're running, right? Run. Okay. Chug. The train is slowly coming off. You pull him onto the train. He drops his bag And lo and behold, this bag is full of explosives.
Dude, that's one of the that's a case.
I don't know, every time I do this, I somehow get a Muhammad on the other end. but you're on the train. You're on the train, all right? I mean, honestly, it happens every time. I didn't even plan it. He drops the flag of explosives. But they're only fireworks. This is fireworks. We're not talking about it. Something over here falls on the head of Mrs. Paulgraff and injured her. Okay. Who are you going to sue, Miss Paulgraff?
Something fell.
Yeah, something fell. You're hurt.
Nothing, it's not related.
Yeah, this, when the firecrackers went off, boom.
Yeah, I would say.
Well, who are you going to sue? Mohammed? New Jersey Transit?
I mean, it was.
Both? It's an accident.
I mean, it depends on how you look at it.
Well, how you look?
He pulled him onto the New Jersey Transit.
Okay.
But fireworks are legal in New Jersey.
Not anymore. You can have firecrackers. Yeah, you buy all the firecrackers you want.
So you're okay. So then, I guess I could make a case and argue sue New Jersey Transit.
Okay, and you would win? Okay. Demetrius, what do you think? New Jersey Transit, why? Dan?
Well, if he would have never pulled Muhammad onto the train, he would have never dropped his
Okay. Chris?
Jersey Transit.
Why?
Because the only reason why he dropped his bag is because it was like closure promo.
Okay, yes.
No, she can't sue because he's rising only up to a certain extent. Isn't this like unforeseeable? Yeah, actually something like that, right? I don't know if it's
Yes. Was it foreseeable? Well, maybe not. Was it foreseeable that when he pulled Mohammed carrying a bag onto the train, that he would be carrying explosives?
He was just trying to help.
Huh?
He was just trying to help. He didn't assume that was all that was going to happen.
That was the famous Paulsgraf case. And what Paulsgraf teaches us is the difference between proximate cause and legal cause. Was it foreseeable? Was it foreseeable that when you help somebody pulling on the train, maybe he shouldn't have done that on a moving train, but is it foreseeable you're doing that somebody's going to be carrying explosives and that they're going to fall and hit somebody? No. Not foreseeable. All right? So, no liability here. And you're going to sue Mohammed? Well, let me tell you, first of all, Mohammed, he just got here. All right? He's actually just visiting. All right? He had no lunch. Trying to sell the fire. All right, so it has to be foreseeable. That's the Paulsgraf case. All right? Thank you. Foreseeability. Foreseeability, yes. All right. Just like when I threw the eraser, it wasn't foreseeable that Chris was going to go berserk and start having people a chain reaction all the way out in the halls. Not foreseeable. So at some point, the legal cause stops. All right, next. Oh, by the way, we're going to finish this up on Monday because next Friday we're having our first exam. All right? I almost forgot. Is it tendency going around? Sorry, please. And please remember, ladies and gentlemen, that I have to, if you miss days, I have to take off for that. Legally, my boss says I have to take, I'm not losing my job because of you guys, so you better show up, all right? All right. Unless it's excusable, you read it again. It's 1% here, 2%, 3%, on down the line. Next.
So next is comparative negligence.
Comparative negligence.
Comparative negligence states that when an accident occurs, the fault or the negligence of each party involved
Okay, all right, so we haven't gotten into negligence, but when we get to decide that there's negligence involved, states that use comparative negligence will apportion the negligence. Say, Esmeralda. All right, we're involved in an accident, okay? And I'm 20% liable, but she's 80%, all right? So let's assume that her award is $100,000, all right? How much does she get, Chris, under comparative negligence?
Who?
Esmeralda.
You
I'm
said
20%, no, she's 20%, you made me, I'm 20, you're 80. I'm 20% negligent, she's 80.
How much you getting, 100?
And how much, and 100, the award is 100. How much do I get?
80, you? 20?
Yes.
Yeah.
80? Yes. Right? We're in an accident, all right? You're 80% liable, but I'm 20%. The court awards 100%. And so, what do I get?
20. You should get 80.
I get 80.
Yeah.
They apportion it because I'm 20, so I'm 20,000 liable. She's liable 80,000. They apportion it. All right. And the difference is there's some that are pure comparative, and then there's some states that are pure contributory negligence. In a state that's pure contributory negligence, if I'm partially 20% negligence, that defeats my recovery at all. All right. Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good weekend. Spend the seat. I will put more homework on, but make sure you sign the attendance sheet before you go. No, you have to get the answers from your friends. You can get, all right, Mohammed, you get a new